So I went Thursday to Monday, but tomorrow. You're gonna get a lot of juice here. Okay, and thank you for posting questions. Darpan and Shrestha gets. Hari posts big questions. So Hari, that will require. I have already been thinking about it. You disturbed my chanting today. So we'll need a little bit more purport to your questions. Okay. So text. Can I get nectar of instruction from anybody? Also. Okay. You can share with one.
Yeah, I have an iPad.
Okay. So welcome. Okay. So text 4. Now it's important to understand, devotees, that these verses follow one another. Okay. Text 4 talks about 6 principles of loving relationships between devotees, right? Loving relationships between devotees cannot be accomplished unless the yoga which is mentioned in the previous 3 verses are accomplished. You follow? There is no loving relationship possible in mode of ignorance and mode of passion. Have you ever heard of discord between devotees or discord in general? Have you ever heard strained relationships between yourself and your parents or your spouse or brother and sister or mother and son? So these discord and this strain and this tension is inevitable unless and until one has risen to the platform of sattva guna. Only in sattva guna, only in goodness, any relationship, long lasting, sustainable, mutually respectful, mutually appreciative, mutually fulfilling, something which nourishes you on a very deeper spiritual level. Of course, here we are talking of a very deep aspect of a spiritual friendship. Relationship with co-workers is easy. It's very simple. Relationship with distant family members is easy. Relationship with a co-spiritual person whom you are serving Krishna together, it's a very difficult idea. And that's why what you will see in reality is discord. This is a true statement. And it is compared to a forest fire, a fire of rajas and tamoguna. If you're driving a car in a huge traffic jam and everybody's honking, can it be a pleasant drive? It's not possible. So these are some fundamental principles of life. Nobody can change it. Unless one individually and collectively graduate to sattva guna, there is no peace possible individually or in a community or in a society of devotees or between two devotees. So I think this is a principle you have to keep in mind, that real peace is possible in sattva guna. And also these principles are only possible when there is vacho vegam, manha krodha vegam, jiva udar upastha vegam. If I continue to gratify my senses, I will not be able to provide solace and comfort and peace to anybody else. It doesn't work that way. You will see many saints, many sadhus praying, make me an instrument of peace. It's a very popular Franciscan prayer. Radhanath Swami talks about that. Many devotees talk about it. Prabhupada is saying, if you want to, please make me dance. Please make me an instrument of compassion. However, the first 3 verses have to be realized to some degree or another. To some degree or another. Jiva udaropastha. Then we talked about utsaha, nishchay, patience. How important is patience in relationships? What if other devotee makes a complete mess of what you're trying to do, and now you can be patient about it and not blame, not point fingers, not criticize? How important is patience in close marital relationships? Dhairyat, determination to make it work. Determination to make relationships work. determination to stick it out through thick and through thin. In a sports team, a team wins and a team loses. Nobody points fingers, working as a team. So, utsahat nishchay dhairya tat tat karma pravartanat, following regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, shatovratte, sangatyagat. So many things, so many deep levels of surrender are required to make anything work. This cannot just be a mechanical principle of I give you a gift and you give me a gift. Even you give me a gift or you give me a note, if I truly, truly do not believe or do not trust you that you will not hurt me in a relationship, it will have very limited meaning. So here in text 4, so you have to really meditate on, okay, if I want a relationship with this person, then I have to really also focus on the first 3 verses. Now comes sweetness, okay? The first 3 are simply yam and niyam. They are what? Yam and niyam. They also include asanas. Asana means my conduct. Arjuna asks this question in 254. How does he sit? How does he walk? What is his behavior like? What does a self-realized person do? And in 255 to 272, Krishna speaks. He controls his senses. Gives the example of a tortoise, gives the example of a boat. He says, one who has given up all endeavor for sense gratification, like rivers enter into an ocean. He alone can attain peace and not the one who strives to satisfy such desires. Material desires, Prabhupada says, when they are not fulfilled, they create anger. And how many people would want to have a deep relationship with an angry person? Once you lash out in anger at somebody, it stays for the rest of the life. Even if things may be superficially there, that impression, that samskara is there. So we come to now text 4, where Rup Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are explaining what are the symptoms of love shared between one devotee and another. And so there are 6. So offering gifts in charity and accepting charitable gifts. Now, what I really would like to, in Prabhupada's purport here, of course, a devotee gives so one principle of giving, and I really want you to focus on this. Oh my God. Here's a gift. What was a gift? Was this a caricature meant to entertain us?
No, you're giving it talked about gifts, so we
gift. Oh, I see. I see.
You're giving a gift.
Okay. Sorry, I should have paid more attention. Alec, can you do this? So we're talking about a gift, yes? Now, gift does not have to be monetary. Number 1, as a devotee, one can develop an inner life of prayer. That whoever I will meet, I will pray to Krishna and send some positive vibes this person's way. It could just be a brief interaction in a grocery store. That the best gift is a prayer. Prayer is a very profound gift. It can be given to anybody. People say blessings to you or best wishes to you. What is that? It's ultimately a prayer. Now, as a devotee, we pray to the Supreme Lord and Radharani and Lord Chaitanya. So I pray to Lord Chaitanya or maybe Lord Nityananda, who's very merciful. If I want to send a prayer or a well-wishing vibe, I would send a prayer. So prayer is a gift. A compliment or appreciative words is a very, very beautiful gift. Words of affirmation, compliments, encouragement. This is a very powerful gift. A simple thing as a flower or a note A note can be a gift. I remember, Prabhupada's letters, even though very brief, couple of paragraphs, I know that devotees would give up everything except the letter which was written to them. You know? So sometimes those notes, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years down the line, are our precious possessions. So gift can be, offering gifts in charity and accepting gifts. So those kind of loving exchanges between devotees should happen. Appreciation, affirmation, small acts of service, or giving something, which is meaningful, writing valuable and loving notes. All of the time you will find that people who, the president of the United States, like it was very common that Obama would write, cards to even like the somebody who would he meet just like that, and he visits some country and he meets somebody like a driver, and they would get a personalized card from him. So that card that became like the most prized possession, or a photograph. So like that, so we have to kind of think about giving to others. The whole mood should be of giving. And in giving you receive. It's a universal principle. In giving you receive. You receive joy, you receive abundance, you receive blessings. Whatever you give, it comes back to you tenfold. This is a universal principle. You give judgment, you give, accusations to others, they all come to you. Your internal space becomes disturbed, your mind becomes disturbed, your life becomes hell, basically. So most people, live in a hellhole of their own mental agony because they created themselves. So having positive regard and positive feelings, and always being in a mood of giving. What can I give? How can I be helpful in this particular situation? Even if we come across most challenging and trying circumstances, what could be my contribution here? How can I give? So this is an important principle, I think, of giving. Prabhupada made a very interesting comment in the purport of giving. He did not limit giving to gifts between two devotees. He had two ideas in the purport. The first idea he said, we are preaching and we are making life members. We give people books and they give us some donations. This is the principle of dadhati pratigranati. Meaning he wasn't talking just about giving to his close and near and dear ones. While distribution of sacred literature, then he says, okay, he talks about life members in the purport. Then in the next paragraph he says, but we hold festivals. We hold Sunday love feast. In that love feast and festivals, we are giving prasadam, we are doing kirtan. He talks about 3 paragraphs about the holy name. And he talks about giving sacred books of knowledge. Isn't that a genius way of giving to somebody? Knowledge. I remember that, I don't remember anything anybody gave me, but from time to time there was an uncle of mine who would give me books. Like when I was learning chess, he gave me a book on chess. He gave me a book on physics when I was trying to prepare for my pre-med. And that was transformational, revolutionary. So Prabhupada is talking about that our society is meant to give, and whatever they give in return, they may offer seva or they may give us some contributions. We accept that, ultimately in service to Krishna. So that is the principle of dadhati and pratigranati. That we are in the mood of giving Krishna consciousness to everybody, either through books or through prasadam or through the holy name. And we are hosting festivals, we are hosting open programs, we are conducting Rath Yatras, or we are distributing books door to door. Our principle should be of giving. I want to give something to somebody. My intention should always be pure. That I'm not doing this for any fruitive purpose. If it brings pleasure to Krishna, that is his business. But my purpose is to give something. And I think that intentionality and that purity, along with that work we are doing, it actually makes everything complete. As Vaisheshika Prabhu says, leave everybody with a good impression. Make sure that people think you're a gentleman. Work in that way. In everything, you kind of try to work in a way that everybody who comes across you think that you're at least a gentleman. So they may or may not appreciate your gift. They may not appreciate fully your gift. That's another thing. So that purport, it really struck me in the purport about the principle of giving. And he said that we have formed our society for this purpose, for dadhati.
But shouldn't like the gifts that you're making, I think like they should be also thoughtful, like something that the person actually needs. Because you mentioned that like you give a note, like let's say people give me postcards and they care less about postcards. Like unfortunately they go most of the time they go to trash.
Yeah.
Well, because I don't feel like they're sincere words. Like you buy me a card that has a pre-written message and I'm like love, I don't know. So that doesn't matter. But when you're actually looking to find what is important for that person, and that kind of gift speaks volumes because you get something that makes the person light up.
Yes. Yes, very well said. Very well said. Thank you. Very being thoughtful about giving. And there is the science of what they call as love language, meaning what is the love language of a person, meaning what is meaningful to a person. For example, I can do something a lot for a person, but I may speak in a way which the other person feels snubbed. Like very often it happens between a parent and a child. A parent does something, but he speaks in a way that the child feels snubbed, and the child ends up crying. So also there's this concept of love language. Some people do appreciate gifts. Some people are in need of things. They may appreciate a gift, a monetary gift, a jacket, a coat, or whatever. It feels good sometimes. So that's good. Second is words of affirmation. Some people just want to be spoken to respectfully. Some people really don't want to be interrupted while they're talking. Some people want to be heard first. They don't want any advice. So there is this whole science of how we speak and how we relate to other people, that do we press negative buttons unintentionally, or do we really put intentionality in it and try to figure out what is the positive button? How do I press positive buttons which will work? And good leaders have this ability to inspire and encourage people with very little said. They just know how to do things, understanding people. So this words of affirmation, gifts, acts of service. For some people, it is not about what you say or monetary gifts or anything, but are you willing to help me? Are you willing with your actions do things which show that you care and you love? A lot of people really care about that. That are you willing to do something in this relationship which really show that you care? Are you going to be present? Are you going to be active? Are you going to participate? So acts of service are very important. Words of affirmation, gifts. Sometimes, for some people, love language could mean a hug or a touch in a way that really motivates them. We are human beings. We're relational. So that's also very important. And the final one is sacrifice. For some people, what is most important is this person willing to sacrifice something in a relationship? So these are kind of different ideas by which we can give gifts to people, or speak in a language that will motivate them. So these are some ideas here. Now, moving onward, the next idea is revealing one's mind and confidence and inquiring confidentially. So, revealing mind and confidence and inquiring confidentially, that actually is the foundational root of any deep spiritual relationship. Really, we hold a lot. We are in denial. We sort of cover over. We gloss over. We kind of show ourselves to be big, then. But, if I can portray all of my thoughts in a day to a person, everything which comes to my mind, and if I have a relationship like that, where I can really share my deepest struggles and fears and challenges and shortcomings and everything else with a person, and, that person kind of listens and helps me in a way where I feel, connected with myself, that is a very, very profound exchange of love. You can be in a big room full of people or go all your life and you really don't kind of touch base with anybody. So really having meaningful, profound, deep conversations, and that's where I think a lot of our sannyasis and monks and people who are at that level of understanding, they play a very important and deep role, to provide that comfort or to lend an ear where you can really, really, accept a person, accept a human being with everything that it is. Everything that it is, and not be affected and be detached and be in a way that you can be a positive presence in that moment, in that space. That's a very profound loving exchange. There is a science called Scientology in which the entire field is based upon you go there and you take a meter and the guru or the guide is sitting there, your counselor, and you basically start speaking from your childhood. You bring about your repressed memories and traumas and all of that, And sometimes people even go into their past lives, about their traumas, about their struggles, about challenges. So there is a deep psychology. Spirituality is deep psychology, eventually. Deep psychology. You bring out everything, and people are able to really understand, and you kind of keep going into depths of this, and it's confidentially done, and you pay a fee, which is a few $100s to a few $1,000s, sometimes tens of thousands of dollars. Yeah, I mean, Hari, it's very, very, it's a service, which people need. The entire field of psychology, is based on that. So we're talking about revealing one's mind in confidence, confidentiality, non-judgment, listening presence. If somebody starts talking to you or me and I give an advice, what it makes a person feel is I am not good enough. He thinks I'm stupid. Now, whatever you say after that, he's going to carry that samskara in his brain. I am not good enough and he thinks he's smarter than me. You can do whatever you want after that. He will never forget that samskara of untimely, unnecessary, premature advice, interruption. When we interrupt somebody, the other person knows that what I'm speaking is not important. And that I have no meaning for me. I could be a piece of shit for this person. Now you can do whatever you want. That samskara stays in your mind.
Can you define samskara?
It's an impression. Samskara is simply a Sanskrit word for impression.
Subtle or?
Subtle impression,
Okay.
yeah. It can be gross and subtle depending upon how gross and subtle it actually is.
But that impression can also be applied even after you do all of that, which is not something to be done, like not interrupting. You still let that other person reveal completely, and then if that person has come to you, that means he has looked something.
I'll tell you, Alec, a good piece of advice. You can ask the person when he's completely done. Well, you can ask questions like, is there anything else you want to talk about? Sometimes you can tap on them on the shoulder and say, are you done? Is there anything else? What makes you think like that? You can explore. Then you can ask a question. Do you feel that we need to talk about a solution? I'll tell you, majority of times people will say, no, I don't need to talk about a solution. I'm done. This is good enough. And also there is a whole psychology aspect of it. There's a whole field of nonviolent communication, deep psychology, deep communication, which talks about how you talk to people.
But whenever if there is something which you want to reveal to someone, you reveal that to a closer person, and you want some comments on that. That's the reason sometimes we reveal something to a close one. So in that case, if we get that comments, then, or like if we give the comments.
Well, Mayuri, so these things happen. It happens in close relationships. That's why there is so much divorces and discord and all that stuff. It's unfortunate, but it's the reality that it happens in close relationships more often than not, actually.
So, Prabhu, what about in a non-close relationship? If someone comes to you, you might not know them very deeply. If they come to you, they open up their heart, and they're not sure whether they're seeking advice yet, or you're not sure. Do you say something or not? Because they're not a close relationship yet, but they're an acquaintance, let's say.
You explore. You ask open-ended questions which help the person share his heart more. And you take the situation. There's an energy field between two people. There is timing. There is, the emotion of the other person. So all of those things have to be deeply looked at and see what's the comfort level. And it's okay to ask, where is the comfort level here? And not worry about solutions in the beginning, unless the person is ready. And solutions also have to be forged together. This idea of one person giving advice doesn't work in psychology. They have to be explored. They have to be forged, explored. Okay, so this is the whole idea of exploring one's mind in confidence and inquiring confidentially. Now, of course, accepting prasadam and offering prasadam. That's a simple thing. Here Prabhupada explains that, we invite people. Inviting people for prasadam is a good first step. It's a good first step. Hospitality is a universal principle. When one of the reasons that relationships work is when families share meals together. People look forward to weddings or Thanksgiving or Christmas. Everybody's going to eat together. This whole idea of cooking for somebody, eating together, inviting them, and making yourself available for that service, it's a very intimate, personal, deep aspect of a relationship. It's the first step. Our temples, according to Prabhupada, should be centers for love. We don't serve prasadam, we don't serve anything, we serve love. Anybody comes, they should feel, along with the food, they should feel camaraderie, love, peacefulness. I can come here and I can eat peacefully. And it will be nice. And people would be willing to serve me. Then everything follows from that. Everything else follows from that. No other better example than Prabhupada. So many examples come to my mind, but no other better example than Prabhupada. He would cook, 10, 12 course meals. And he would cook and he would arrange everything. And so one time his Guru Maharaj's birthday happened to come. And this is after about a year or two in the movement. And he told the devotees, I would like to have a festival. And generally a festival of like an departed acharya is done in the afternoon in our tradition. During afternoon, bhoga offering is made. 11:30 Prabhupada comes down and devotees had advertised the festival in the evening so that they thought people could come. And Prabhupada said, no, what I had in mind was that all of us will have a festival in honor of my Guru Maharaj. And this offering is done at noon. So he went in the kitchen, he made a nice feast for everybody and served out to everybody. And, he was really trying to, and he would write in his diary that today devotees appreciated my cooking. And he would take pride in that. He would take pride in the fact that he was able to serve and devotees appreciated his cooking. So like that, and many, many examples come to my mind. I think our temple or all the devotees in the Hare Krishna movement have been at one level or another touched by prasadam and hospitality. So this idea of hospitality should be there in our interactions, in our exchanges, in prasadam serve out, So, yes, honey.
So Prabhupada's talking very extensively about becoming friends with devotees. And then, so in the Prabhupada he's saying that when the devotee who's neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavad, this towards like...
Which verse?
No, text 4.
Text 4.
All the way to the last.
Okay.
It's right, the paragraph right above the last paragraph. In the next verse, Sri Rupa Goswami, right above that, it says, the devotee who's neither a neophyte nor a Mahabhagavad,
yes,
but is within the middle status of devotional service, is expected to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead, make friends with the devotees, show favor to the ignorant, and reject the jealous and demoniac. So the ignorant sometimes come as the jealous and demoniac. Some people might be like very antagonistic to Krishna consciousness, but they might just be ignorant. So, but if we reject them as oh, you're unsavable, you're too far gone, or because they're affecting your they're affecting your consciousness because they always talk bad about Srila Prabhupada, talk bad about ISKCON, like that. If they start talking like that, we have to reject them, but then they might just be ignorant, right?
In ignorance, they're criticizing
Yes.
the Prabhupada also?
Yeah. Family members,
Like people who don't follow ISKCON, they're just normal, they're Hindus, they don't respect the Krishna conscious movement.
Every Indian family.
But they criticize.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my question is, if we reject them as jealous and demoniac, how do we know as the Pia? What's the line between ignorant and demoniac? You know what I'm saying?
Okay, good point, Hari. So I'd like to make some comments about this whole idea. Okay. So first, any relationship is based on this principle that every living entity is a part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is in their heart. That is very, very important to understand. Secondly, I'd like to tell you a story. This whole idea of rejection or making discrimination about ignorance, who are we? So there is this devotee who goes to Vrindavan. He asks for initiation from his Guru Maharaj. And the spiritual master says that, so this devotee is a professor in a university. This is a true story. And this guru really detects this pride in the heart of this devotee. And he says, although I'm doing initiations, today you cannot get initiated. I suggest that you stay in Vrindavan and you find somebody lower than you and you bring them to me. Then we'll discuss. So the disciple thought, wow, what? Of course, I'm a great scholar. I'm such a Vaishnava. So he goes and he starts looking at people, But with Guru's blessing, he got this insight that every living entity has some good quality or another, which he doesn't have. On a scale of 1 to 10, I may be 7 or 8 on certain scales. I may be 2 or 3 on other scales. So it came to his mind that actually everybody has some good quality and nobody is lower than me. But then he thought it's not a big deal. I'll just take some animal. I'll tell him he's lower than me. So then he thought, it came to his intelligence that animals also have qualities, loyalty and depth and precision and intelligence and smart and brilliance and beauty. So he thought, no, that's not also a very good sanguine idea to take my, Then he thought, no problem. Any tree or creeper will do. But living in Vrindavan, he's thinking, imagine the tolerance and the humility plants and trees have. We are asked by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be more humble than a blade of grass and more tolerant Can anybody even equal the humility of a blade of grass? Is it even possible? Like we walk in the backyard, we put our table there. Is it possible to be equal to a blade of grass in humility and more tolerant? We are bundled up. The trees are naked, standing. It's minus 20 degrees outside. They're not complaining. They'll give firewood to the person who cuts them. He says, you may be tired. Just rest a little. I'll cut me a little bit more. Burn some fire. Take rest. Then tomorrow you can keep cutting. Is that possible for a human being? So he said, this also category is gone. He said, I cannot do this. Then last day came and he's passing stool. And while passing stool, he thinking, I'll tell Guru Maharaj, this stool is lower than me. So the stool talked to him and he said, I was a very nice plate of prasadam. And you put me in your body and look what you have done to me. So he said, okay, that category is gone. He saw a worm in the stool. He said, I'll tell my Guru Maharaj. Then the worm said, at least I organically helped decompose whatever you have passed, mixed it with the soil, and I'm so useful. And he goes to his guru, he says, Guru Maharaj, I am lower than a worm in the stool. I am more fallen than any degraded person in this world. You cannot find anybody who's lower than me. So Guru said, okay, at least now you are qualified for Diksha. You are qualified to start spiritual life. The qualification to begin spiritual life, Hari, is this sort of mental dainyata or humility. That, forget with anyone else. I'm super fortunate that I have got something. Now let me, without judging anybody, rejecting anybody. Rejection can come, if somebody is really demoniac, and I keep a little respectful and safe distance from those elements which may be demoniac. Not everybody is fully demoniac. People have good qualities. People have goodness, interest. They may be a devotee in some other way. We can appreciate that. We can appreciate what they do, And if it's really overbearing, then we don't have to be a subject of abuse. But our consciousness should be what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said. Radhanath Swami says, make a garland around this words and put it in your neck. Trin ad api suni chena. Meditate on a blade of grass. Meditate on a tree. Meditate on a plant which is standing outside. Meditate on these things. Meditate on nature. Meditate on billions of species of lives and billions of living entities who don't have a human form of life. And you can make tremendous advancement like that. And we don't consider ourselves better or superior than anybody. No, I am lower than a worm in a stool. And that consciousness should be permeating one's interactions with every living entity. Appreciate their good qualities. Find good in them. Whatever they do, nice. If there can be a shared human experience based on that, that's fine. Otherwise, all relationships are to and fro of energy. It's law of thermodynamics. These are universal principles of energy exchange. If I don't feel happy or inspired in somebody's company, it's not going to work in the long term. So respectful distance, maybe superficial levels of tolerance and humility, and just trying to make it work if it's unavoidable. But in the long run, energy has to flow to and fro. Acts of service have to flow to and fro. It can't work otherwise. So those are some thoughts, Hari. We can do anything, but if our consciousness is at all judgmental, we're not going to make spiritual advancement. I can be the biggest. I will eventually hit a wall and I will fall down.
In the next verse, he's saying though that there's discrimination. You have to treat people according to their adhikar, kanishta, madhyam, and uttama, right?
Correct.
So, when you're saying this, another question's popping up in that when we try to tell somebody about Krishna consciousness, when I'm going on book distribution or something, I'm I have something, so I have to give. So I'm giving something, So when we're showing favor to the ignorant, are they just? Should we? We can't say that we're higher and they're lower. Should we just say? The mood should be that they're ignorant to their position as Krishna's servant, and we're just trying to help them as a friend.
Yeah, the mood could be appreciation of their innocence. I'm trying to share a gift. Any book distributor or anybody who preaches Krishna consciousness knows that the results are in Krishna's hands. So having that mood, Krishna, help me, whatever level I am in, I may need some external results. So please help me give these books to people who are worthy, who will be good recipients. Make me meet some interesting people. So Hari, those are the thoughts. And Hari, these ideas, if you read this idea, one should so coming to the next verse. One more thing about charity. Prabhupada does talk about giving to serve the Sankirtan movement. He gives an example of Rup Goswami. Of course, that may not be practical for everybody, but the idea is that Ishavasyam idam sarvam. Ishopanishad says, everything belongs to God. Let me take what is required for my maintenance. Everything belongs to Krishna. And if it belongs to Krishna, then it should be used for his service. That is the principle. And then within my own situation, how can I simplify? How can I serve Krishna's movement, Krishna's mission? How can I serve Krishna? That should be our focus, whatever we can do. In whatever way we can do, everything belongs to Krishna and it should be used for his service. So when I spend $5, I may make a lot of money. But if I spend $5, I should think this is Krishna's money. And I have to use it for his pleasure. And Prabhupada said an advanced devotee does like that. Not everybody is at that platform. Not everybody is at that platform. Whatever platform, one can start with 5% or 10% or something. Tithing, which means giving 10% of one's possessions to the church, has been existing in human society for at least last 2,500 years. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. As Vaishnavas, we are supposed to come to a platform that, number one, everything belongs to Krishna. Krishna is Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. And I should take what is my quota, rest belongs to Krishna. For my peace of mind, I may need some savings. I can put it all away. When I die, I can put things in my will, this trust, this foundation, that foundation. I can live a peaceful life. I can have enough for my needs, even for my old age and retirement. And when I die, everything belongs to Krishna. That's what most philanthropist people do. They make foundations, they already have in their will. So much so gives to this, so and so goes to this, so and so goes to that. I can live happily, I can live peacefully, I have a little place to live, close to where I don't have to depend upon other living entity. I don't have to, but Krishna provides actually. When somebody lives like that, Krishna takes care of everything. Krishna takes care of what you need. That is for sure. 100%. Whatever you need, Krishna takes care of. Okay, so now text 5 is, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Krishna. So here, Hari, I think that's the important point. So Mahaprabhu, this question of residents of Kulinagram go to Mahaprabhu and they ask a question, Vaishnava K, who is a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu, so they go 3 years in a row. And Mahaprabhu gives 3 different answers 3 different times. First time, who is a devotee? Mahaprabhu, please help. Mahaprabhu's first answer was, whoever chants the holy name of Krishna even once is a devotee. Kanishtha who constantly chants the name of Krishna is a Madhyam Adhikari. And one whose presence make other people chant is an Uttam Adhikari. So the first thing was, he said that one who chants even once, you can say even once or occasionally or interruptedly or like whatever. That's a Kanishtha, neophyte devotee. One who chants all the time, constant chanting, he is a Madhyam Adhikari. And one who can make others chant is a Uttama Adhikari. Then the residents, meditated on this idea. So anybody who chants the name once is a Kanishta Adhikari. I should mentally honor that person. In my mind, I should honor. Okay? It is not asking that person I have to take intimate association from.
To honor means to appreciate.
Honor, respect, appreciation is part of that. Then they went again next year. Say, who is a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu said, one who has weak faith in the name and have no knowledge of scriptures, he is a Kanishtadhikari, neophyte devotee. Weak faith and no knowledge of scriptures is a Kanishtadhikari. One who has strong faith, very strong faith in the process of bhakti, in name, in Bhagavan, but may not have knowledge of scriptures and cannot convince others, is a Madhyamadhikari. But one who has very strong faith in the name and who also has deep philosophical understanding and can present it in a realized form so that others can become convinced is a Uttamadhikari. So that was a second answer he gave. Vaishnava K, who's a devotee. So first one was one who chants the holy name occasionally, one who chants holy name always, and one who can make others chant the holy name. So like a position of a spiritual master, he can give others the holy name, will be an Uttamadhikari. Then he added this idea of scriptural knowledge along with the faith in the process. How strong is one's faith? Some people we can see, like Mayuri and Victoria, very strong faith from very, very beginning. Some people can come to our temple for 40 years and they don't get it. They don't get it. You see? They don't get it. So it requires faith. So strong faith versus weak faith. And then knowledge of scriptures, which we are endeavoring to develop. And then the Kulinagram residents went again to Mahaprabhu and they said, who is a Vaishnava? And then he talked about this idea. A Kanishta Adhikari is one who worships the deity. Faith in the deity. A lot of people will come and they will pray to the Radhanadabar. They will not actually associate with devotees or have no regard for devotees. Sometimes I see new people coming to the temple and I approach them with a book or I say, can we chant Kirtan? They immediately think I'm going to ask them for money. So they run away.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow.
New people. Because as soon as the priest comes, that means money. Right? That's the whole principle. So their faith has been distorted or damaged, whatever you can say. You will see that they have faith in Krishna, but they don't have faith in devotees. When a pure sannyasi or a guru comes to the temple, you will find only a few people really eager to associate and serve them. Rest of them, as soon as the lecture is over, prasadam. Where is prasadam? Where is prasadam? A person who's attached to Krishna but who's not attached to a devotee is a Kanishta Adhikari. A real devotee understands that a pure devotee of Krishna is everything. He's more merciful than Krishna. Prabhupada says, Acharya Mam Vijaniyat in the purport. You should know the Guru or Acharya to be just like me. No difference. And one can make tremendous advancement by serving devotees. So a real devotee is always serving devotees.
So there, like some people they come for the first time to temple. Like in India, it happens there are various temples, so they go and even the priest and even some other people like you go to West Bengal, there's Mahakali temple. And they just comes first they just looking for money. That's what they want to gain.
False priest, yeah.
Yes, they will even steal things and they will do all that.
It's very, very pathetic. Yeah.
So this kind of makes
people,
impression.
that is true, Abhishek. Even though it does, but you will see, there are some people who come and they have this faith and understanding from their previous lifetimes that no, I need to serve I need to serve Guru, I need to serve Acharya, I need to serve senior devotees, I need to get their association. And some people don't. So Kanishta Adhikari is one. Krishna he has faith in, but he has no faith in devotees. Now, whatever could be the reason, that's Kanishta Adhikari. Madhyam Adhikari has 4 characteristics. He gives his love to Krishna. Ultimately, we're chanting Hare Krishna. He makes friendships with devotees. He actually makes friendships. He makes an effort to understand devotees, come in the Sangha. He serves those devotees who are advanced than him. He makes a discrimination. Are Baba, who is more advanced than me? Who has more bhakti than me? Let me serve them. This whole idea of paying dandavats or obeisances means your good qualities can come to me. When I serve somebody, their good qualities come to me. You follow? This is the whole process. So this whole idea of serving is that I want to become like you. I don't want to become you. I want to become like you. I want to possess the bhakti you possess. So I'm going to serve you. That is the only way to do it. So that's the second category. He, of course, shows mercy to the innocent. You will see that he will be strongly engaged in somehow or another spreading the Sankirtan movement. Whatever he can do. Whatever he can do. And I will say one thing about preaching. What is preaching, people ask? Because ultimately this is the global Sankirtan movement of Mahaprabhu. Anybody who's helping in whatever way is engaged in preaching. Pot washing, sweeping, cleaning, painting, construction, deity worship, cloth sewing, giving right to a devotee, all of that is basically offered in the fire of Sankirtan. The 7-tongued fire of Sankirtan consumes everything. Everything. When you see, new people, when you see the Mahaprabhu's movement expanding, wherever that is happening, the whole 7-tongued fire of Sankirtan consumes everything. Brahma arpanam, Brahma havir, Brahma agnau, Brahma hutam, Brahmena tena gantavya, Brahma karma samadhi. Ahuti. We are not engaged in saying swaha, but this is our swaha. Our swaha is our swaha. The whole thing is swaha. Entire thing is swaha. All your energy is swaha. So that's Madhyam Adhikari. And Uttam Adhikari, what are the 3 characteristics of Uttam Adhikari? Let's start with Abhishek. What are the 3 characteristics?
Whose programs make others.
No. In this category, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport of text 5, there are 3 characteristics of Uttam Adhikari from the purport.
Has strong faith and knows the Vedic knowledge very well.
Yes, very good. So Shrestha made one point here. So we're not discussing faith here. That's another definition. In this definition, number 1, Brahmani upasam ashrayam. Shabda parecha nishnatam. So what is the qualification? Okay, now you tell me from the purport. Hari, you're on the spot. 2 qualities of a disciple and 2 qualities of a guru.
Not sure.
So in text 5, we have this whole description of a guru, of a teacher. Yes? The verse begins with Shabda Pare. Yeah, so it starts with, what is that? No, not this one. The verse starts with Brahmani upasama ashrayam, Shabda Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani upa. Tad Jigyasu okay. Tad Vigyanartham Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. Okay.
This is the 11th canon, right? 11 to 47, 46.
Yeah. Can you read that? Read verse?
For the Madhyama or the...
Uttamadhikari, the guru, the qualification of guru in the purport of 5. Here it is.
Divyam Jnanam Yato Dadya.
So after that one.
These are all Chaitanya Charitamrita.
Correct. Here.
Yeah.
I'll find it. Just give me 1 second. Okay. It says, Tasmad Guru. So page number 52. In this book, page number 52. In page number 52, the end of the first paragraph, you see, such a person should approach a spiritual master in order to take Diksha. Bhagavatam prescribes Tasmad Guru Prapaddeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. Okay? So, you follow what I'm saying? Alec, you found it? Shrestha, you found it? Okay. You found it, Ashna? So, Tasmad Guru, Tasmat means therefore. Guru Prapaddeta means to surrender. So, one should surrender to Guru who has the requisite, following 2 requisites. What are those? Jigyasu Shreyas Uttamam. So these are the qualities of a student, of a disciple. Jigyasu Shreyas Uttamam. Krishna says 4 kind of people come to me. Yes? Chaturvidya bhajante mam. Janha Sukritino Arjuna. Artho Jigyasur Arth Arthi Jnani Cha Bharatarshava. But here he's saying Artho, one who's in distress, and Artharthi, who wants some, Hari, to your question, who wants something material. That person is not qualified. Only Jigyasu is qualified to come to a guru. Anybody who comes to religion with a material idea, he will never be able to really relish the rasa between a guru and a disciple. Or he won't be able to get anything out of it. In a very short time, he will break regulative principles, fall down from chanting 16 rounds, and that relationship, which is divya, transcendental, will be severed.
So what happens, I have a question. So what happens if the person has been initiated and then stopped? Because I think like the main thing of like you getting that Harinam and you deciding, like you're given a vow to your guru to chant 16 rounds.
Correct.
What if you stop chanting?
Very good question. So Victoria, read this 5th purport, which is all about guru, disciple, acharya, very carefully. That relationship is severed. Now, it's up to the disciple to rectify his wrong behavior, learn from his lessons, come back to the proper platform, and sincerely apologize to the guru.
So what it sounds like that is worse than. Yeah, I answered my own question. Don't mind. It happens to me.
So initiation is not a cheap thing. Prabhupada says it should not be a socio-cultural thing. This whole idea that at the point of initiation, karma is over. Krishna accepts him as his own. Diksha kare, bhakta kare. I hope you have been reading the text 5, right? Yeah. Krishna kare atma sam. He accepts as his own. Divya gyan. All of these things are only applicable as long as the disciple and guru are both bona fide. And they are doing what is prescribed and what a vow is taken. If that vow is broken, Krishna is in the Paramatma. That relationship is severed. Then a disciple will have to fall down, apologize, repent, and rectify. Come back to the proper platform. If he keeps doing his nonsense, Krishna will say, now I'm not going to trust you. You're basically a rascal. So, in a relationship, you have to earn trust. Similarly, you have to earn Krishna's trust that this person is going to stick to it. Then that relationship is actually very beneficial and it gives transcendental knowledge as Prabhupada speaks. Then it gives Then when, nobody can come to God except me, or you come to accept me and all, you are delivered. That's real deliverance. And a disciple can feel it, and a guru can also feel it. It's a secret. It's not it's not a closed secret. Guru also knows. Recently, I was talking to a spiritual master, and I said, Maharaj, how many disciples do you have? Very, very accomplished spiritual master in our tradition. And he said about 250. And he said, then I said, Maharaj, so then how many are following? nice intimate exchange we were having. He was saying about 45. And then I said, Maj, are you in touch with the others? And he said, if I stay in touch with everybody, I can't do anything else, The duty of a spiritual master is not to do shabashi or patting his disciple. His duty is to serve Krishna. And the disciple's duty is to serve Krishna and Guru. So what is the 3 qualities? Number 1, he has to be in the category of jigyasu. Inquisitive, not distressed, not that Guru is going to be my father who I never had, or my mother who I never had, or my life coach or personality development coach or motivational speaker which I'm so dearly missing, or I need some material benediction, or he's going to give me this, or he's going to give me that, or everything is going to be nice if I accept a Guru. That is all not our idea of Guru. So Krishna says jigyasu. You have to be inquisitive. But inquisitive, anybody can be inquisitive. In Vedas, there are 2 words, Shreyas and Preyas. Preyas means enjoyment of one's senses. Shreyas means nectar of instruction, what we are reading. He has to do Vacho Vegam, Manasakrodha Vegam, Tat Karma Pravartanat, Sangatyaga, Shatovratte, Atyahara, Prayasa, Prajalpa, Niyamagraha, Janasangasya, Laulyam. That is called Shreyas. So first qualification, Jigyasu. Our process is not of Artha and Artharthi. Second process, that disciple will fall down. He will for sure fall down. There is no problem about it. Then he has to do tapasya. He has to perform real austerity.
Can you explain fall down, like what exactly is fall down?
Failure to follow the regulative principles and chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra every day.
So then, those things are confidential, nobody shares that in public that, okay, I have fallen down. But then also, we never know that whatever exchanges, we are having with that devotee, are we gonna, get the bad effect on us, it's all subtle.
Are you worried? Okay, sorry. So continue. Complete your question.
Yeah, so that is the thing that we don't know if that
you know. If you're really intelligent, then you know. You know who's a Kanishta Adhikari, who's Madhyam Adhikari, and who's Uttam Adhikari by this definition. You know. If you choose not to know or acknowledge and remain in this hunky-dory blind idea that everything is wonderful, I have joined the best spiritual movement, Haribol. Then it is like saying like Jesus saves. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Jesus saves. Now you can do anything. So it is not like that, Alec. You know. You also know. You know. So everybody knows, actually. This is the beauty of it. Everybody knows. Guru knows, disciple knows, and everybody around him knows. So this is the beauty of it. Now one can display something else, that's another thing, but that doesn't last long. And whatever is not known will be known in due course of time. Whatever is not known will be known in due course of time. It's only a matter of time. So that devotee is a Kanishta Adhikari. You should mentally honor that devotee because he's chanting Hare Krishna. He's not a Madhyam Adhikari and he's definitely not an Uttam Adhikari. He's a Kanishta Adhikari. Mentally honor him. What is the problem? Like thinking ourselves lower than a worm in a stool, respect him. But don't expect that transcendence is going to manifest through this. If you do, which we have done, then a lot of heartbreaks happen. A lot of heartbreaks happen. A lot of surprises happen. So, Jigyasu, Shreyas and Uttamam. This word Tama means ignorance, Prabhupada explains. Uttamam means which is beyond ignorance. He should be Jigyasu, willing to do tapasya for which is Uttamam, the highest spiritual reality, love of God. These are the 3 qualities of a disciple. This comes from 11th canto. Navyogendras meet this king of the word, and after all the questions, the Navyogendras say to the king, well, king, therefore, Not this, not this, not this, not this. Therefore, you should Guru Prapaddeta. And then, which Guru? Which Guru? So these are the three qualities of a disciple. Which Guru? Shabda Pare Cha Nishnatam. Shabde Pare. Number one, Shabda means Vedic knowledge. Shabda means Vedic knowledge. Para knowledge. He's not going to tell you how to change the tire in the car, but he can, by his presence, lot of people, when they are in presence of a very powerful spiritual personality, they have very deep and profound experiences without even saying much. Without saying much, people feel, depends upon the powerhouse the person is. In the presence of an acharya, Shabda Pare, he is situated, his job is to transmit Vedic wisdom, this para wisdom. Shabda Pare Cha Nishnatam, Brahmani Upasam Ashrayam. Brahmani Upasam Ashrayam. He has taken shelter of Brahman. In his activities, you cannot detect material activities. He has taken shelter of Supreme Brahman Krishna. He's in Samadhi. Everything he does, it's only for the pleasure of Krishna. So a disciple should be intelligent. Number one, Shabda Pare. Has he realized the conclusion of Vedas and can explain it to others? Number one. And number two, Brahmani Ashrayam. Do you find tinges of material life in his behavior? If there is a tinge of material life, then that person is not a Uttamadhikari Vaishnava. Prabhupada says you can take initiation from Kanishta and Madhyam, but your spiritual advancement will be until that level. You cannot give what you don't have. That doesn't happen. Somebody has $1 million, he can make a charity of $1 million. He cannot give $10 million.
People always give the example of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati taking shelter of Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Gaur Kishore Das Babaji was an illiterate, so he couldn't read or anything, but he knew the essence.
Brahmani Ashram.
But the Sabde part.
Shabde part, he was able to give Divya Gyan. Knowledge and realization comes. What is that verse, Hari? That one who has explicit faith in Guru and Krishna, the purport of all the realization Vedas are revealed to him.
It's in chapter 9, I was just rereading it. It was the example of Narada, and that he was a son of the maid, but because he was serving, he had opportunity to serve. He
became enlightened. Yeah. Hari, by reading textbooks, one doesn't get anything. By reading books, one gets very little. It is the mercy of Guru and Krishna which enlightens a devotee, that these words, I am not this body, I am a spirit soul, it begins to make sense. One has this experience that I am not this freaking body. Let me not worry about it so much. That everything belongs to Krishna, that he is the enjoyer, that he is the controller, that he is the proprietor. So these ideas are there in the books, but the book knowledge doesn't give anything. So people who minimize the importance of Guru Padashraya, they don't really know what they're talking about. It is a very important principle to please senior devotees, to gurus and acharya, and take shelter of them. You will find that our parampara, you have generations of people, there is nobody except that one person, who was really connected. So there was no Vaishnava in the tradition? No, there were thousands. And sometimes there is a gap. There is a complete gap for many, many years. So this idea of connection, that gives me realization and knowledge. So like that. We have to understand it like that. So, Shabda Paricha Nishnatam, Brahmani Upasam Ashrayam. One should take shelter of a devotee who has taken shelter of Brahman. Here Brahman refers to Krishna. So Krishna, and then serve him like a menial servant, whatever it is. Our acharyas, our Goswamis, they did like service which was so menial. Sweeping, washing, cleaning toilets. Narottam Das Thakur, Rup Goswami, Jeev Goswami. They're basically doing like sweepanam mapanam all their life. That's what they're doing. They're associated with the acharyas. They're associated with gurus. They're staying in their ashram. So we should take in our lifetime opportunities for advanced association, deep association. And that's what gives much deeper conviction and realizations. Okay, so we'll stop here. We discussed text 4 and text 5. Text 5, basically just explains what we should think of. Mentally honor everybody, thinking I'm lower than worm in a stool. One should try to meditate on blade of grass and tree when provocative situations do appear. Then the second one is, one should offer humble obeisances to devotee who's Madhyam Adhikari, who has taken Diksha and who's doing Prema, Kripa, Maitri, Upeksha. And then finally is that one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee whose advanced and undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. No propensity to criticize others. No criticism at all. You know why he doesn't criticize? Because he knows that whatever is happening is because of the will of Krishna. This is a very profound state of consciousness to have, that there's no resistance in that state of consciousness. Whatever is happening because of the will of Krishna. So he has no desire to criticize anything or any situation. He has given up resistance. There is no friction in his mind for anything. And he's a sadhu, he's a saint. That person we should take opportunity to serve closely, intimate associately, reveal one's total mind, reveals one's heart, reveal one's highest aspirations, like that.
And these are not just the sannyasis we are talking about, it could be anyone.
The person has to be an advanced Vaishnava. To associate intimately and faithfully serve. Faithfully serve. I only will clean toilets for Giriraj Swami. It's like that, Hari. I'll clean toilets, but I should have this mood of cleaning toilets for everybody, but like that. So associating intimately and faithful service. Cleaning toilet, do anything, whatever you want.
Somebody needs to clean it.
What's that?
Somebody
No, I'm saying cleaning the toilets of the temple. I mean, that's an act. Indra Prabhu, he would get up in the middle of the night and clean the toilets of Krishna Balaram Mandir, right before he passed away. And then devotees would ask him, what are you doing? He said, this is my Trinadapi Sunichena. Prabhupada in Radha Damodar Mandir at 2 a.m. in the morning, he's sweeping the courtyard and cleaning the toilets of the temple and crying, "Oh Rupa, oh Jiva, please give me your mercy." So, cleaning the temple toilets, cleaning the house of devotees or serving advanced devotees in that way, like that. No, I clean toilets too. I did scrub that bowl. It was so dirty. It took me another 5 minutes to scrub that one. So, anyways, it's the idea.
How one should get to know that when they should initiate?
It is not that you know. It is a mercy given by Krishna. It is not by knowing. It is simply mercy given by Krishna. Now you do this service. Like we're sweeping toilets or cooking or garlanding or offering artiks or distributing books or reading or chanting. Krishna says, now you do this service for me. I am giving you the power of attorney. No materially contrived system can give that power of authority. There is, because we live in the material world, there has to be some practices and procedures to follow. But generally, it's the self-effulgence of a person and the ability to inspire. An Uttam Adhikari Vaishnava will be able to raise many ordinary jivas to very high levels of bhakti within a very short period of time. Real high level of bhakti, not just show bottle spiritualism. That person, then we have a certain principles you follow, like a certain procedure, and then you can initiate. So like that. So if there is so what happens, Mayuri, in our society is that there is a person who's really, like very mature, who's inspiring a lot of people, who's really making, whose nature, whose behavior really is befitting a madhyam adhikari or a uttam adhikari. That person generally, those who want to take diksha from him, they generally write a petition. There is a process, an application that goes to our highest governing body. The governing body then does interview with the candidate and take recommendations and references for his lifetime of service. His behavior and his character, everything is looked within a microscope by people who know him and a lifetime of service. And if there is no objection from anybody, from his guru, sadhu, shastra, people around him, people who know him, people who have watched him for 40, 50 years, then that person is allowed to give diksha.
I'm asking about taking diksha.
Oh, what is the qualification of a person taking diksha?
Yeah.
3 things: chanting 16 rounds and following 4 regulative principles for a certain period of time. For most teachers, it's between 2 to 5 years. And then having that relationship with the guru that he feels comfortable accepting you as his disciple. He's taking a big risk by taking your karma, by promising that he will take you back to Godhead. So not everybody wants to do that, take that risk. Generally, a spiritual master, if he takes an unqualified disciple, he will fall down. A spiritual master, he takes up a disciple who's unqualified. The spiritual master faces spiritual difficulty and he goes through fall down or severe bodily infirmities.
But if he breaks the principles, isn't that relationship broken?
Yes, but still, why did you give this person degree if you did not check his credentials and qualification? Meaning you give it to an unqualified person. So the disciple has to be somewhat qualified also. Meaning you are not just taking and shooting an arrow in the blind. Disciple should also be at a certain level of spiritual standing that he can convince the prospective guru that yes, the sadhana, the regulative principles and the relationship will continue for eternity. And this person is qualified to go back to the spiritual world. Otherwise, that diksha should not be given, Hari. And those who do that, there have been a lot of cases of difficulty.
If somebody is is to have issues or some people fall sick, then they have to do the chanting for the day.
That is a separate, that is an emergency thing. Usually chanting is not impeded by anything, and devotees who get sick, they have this sort of day off to just chant Hare Krishna. So unless you have like a stroke or you're unconscious or you're totally encephalopathic, that's a different thing. That's a totally different ball game.
So about the seriousness of the aspiring, any of these adhikaris, what level of seriousness one should look for? Even if someone is not capable of doing certain things, but they say, I am inspired by this act or this practice, I'm going to do that. Like for example, not eating food which is cooked by non-devotees. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu compares that to
You become a wicked mind.
exactly. Yeah. So should one person realize that which category that he belongs to, he or she, and then try to find what is possible for him, or he or she should go for something which is hard to do but should aspire to be there, following some rules strictly and knowing that this is gonna help me eventually.
So Alex, specify your question in a way which is a question.
So basically the question is that if one person's quality is Kanishta Adhikari or even below that, and there are certain rules that will help them qualify to go on the, like, in spiritual advancement. Now that person's, there are limitations, there are certain things that one can do, and then should that person go for that or should go for higher, hoping that,
One should have small, smart goals, which are doable. You see, one can have a bigger life goal. That's another thing. I want to become a Paramahamsa devotee, go back to Godhead. That's another thing. But on a day-to-day, immediate level, one should start with some smaller goals. Rules, this is very important, Alec. Rules are fuel for the fire of bhakti. Now, I am trying to kindle a fire. If I put the whole, tree on the top of the fire, what will happen? Gaya, khatam, finished. You can't do like that. You put a little small wood, then you put a little bit side, then you put a little more, make it burn. Rules which you apply to yourself, like you mentioned about prasadam, you put basically you're either fasting or that, is that going to be good for you? So everybody has to really kind of see what principles and practices, yama and niyama, asana, pranayam, pratyahara, withdrawing the mind, it's okay, and then try to come to a higher level. But too many rules and regulations also can be detrimental to the fire of bhakti. So balance has to be there, but there should be some challenge. There should be some motivation to come up. There should be this idea that I really want to progress. And Krishna Prabhupada said that, you can surrender immediately if you want. The choice is yours. It's really about a choice. It's about an adjustment one has to make. That, this is what's expected from me. This is the principles, this is the prayer time, this is expected from me. And then, as far as food goes, the best thing is only Krishna's prasadam, not possible. Sattva gun, vegan devotees try to stick to vegan, vegetarian restaurants which don't serve meat. If that's not possible, then, vegan, vegetarian food, salads and stuff, and if that's not possible, then vegetarian food, which basically is what? No meat, onion, no meat, fish and eggs, right? So no meat, fish and eggs, that's it. That's the lowest one. And in that, those who cannot come to that platform, Prabhupada himself has made concessions for them. All the way up till let the cow die naturally and enjoy the steak, but don't kill. That's like the worst possible, that's what Prabhupada is writing in the 8th canto of Bhagavatam. That's what he is writing in Journey of Self-Discovery. Let the cow die naturally, then you can eat. From there to eating only Krishna's prasadam, there are whole spectrum.
Yeah, I actually, Navin Krishna Prabhu told something like that also in one of the previous Sunday comment that you should do something that pinches you, not punches you. Like, it should not be like cozy comfort and like everything is nice and let me just be wherever I am, but it should give you a little pinch, not too hard.
Yeah. What time is it, Shrestha?
9:05.
9:05. Okay, devotees, Hare Krishna. Text 6 and 7.